Hello and welcome to another edition of Community Tapestry. I'm Napoleon Bell and I'm your Executive Director with the City of Columbus Community Relations Commission. I'd like to welcome you to the show. And to the next to me is...
I am Tony Bell. It's good to be here.
So glad to have you here, and I have our viewing audience here. We've got a great program today. You know, just recently, you know, there was an incredible event. There was an addition to the Sister Cities of Columbus.
That's right, number 10.
Yeah, so it's an amazing piece because, you know, Columbus reaches out internationally.
Mm-hmm. Well, I had the opportunity to interview Mayor Coleman as well as Mayor Vanderpoy of Columbus and Accra, Ghana, respectively. So let's watch it. So Accra, Ghana is now the 10th sister city for the city of Columbus. Mayor Coleman, what was the appeal of Accra to be our next sister city?
Well, Accra is a great city, one of the great international cities in the world. Has a wonderful mayor, one of the great mayors of our globe. And we have a tremendous community here that originates from Ghana, and 10,000 people and growing every year. And we're very proud of them. And we wanted to develop a relationship that would expand and overlap into economic development opportunities, cultural opportunities, artistic opportunities, and I plan on taking a contingent there sometime next year, and looking forward to spending time in the city and to learn more about it and to get the flavor of everything. But if the flavor is anything like this mayor, then, because this is, he's great, he's terrific, he knows a lot about the United States, a lot about our country, and we need to know a lot about Accra.
That's right. And Mayor Vanderpoy, the same for you. What was the appeal for you choosing our great city and our great mayor?
Well, you know, you have a great mayor in this city. And I have lived in the U.S. for over 30 years. So I know about cities in the United States. And when I became mayor, it was my vision that I should, you know, work with mayors of the cities of the United States so that we can bring our people together. And bringing our people together means that creating opportunities of economic empowerment, creating opportunities of business development, creating opportunities for education, and so many things that could be done together. It is said that this world has become a global village, but it takes great people and committed people to make it a reality. And so when I heard that the city of Columbus was interested in establishing a sister city with Accra, I jumped at the idea. And I wanted to come here so that we can make it happen before this great mayor leaves office, because he has done a great job for this city. As I said, I've known it from the time that I used to live here. And if I could just come to this city and add that last glory to his work in office, I wanted to do that because he deserves it. And he deserves it on behalf of all the people of Columbus.
That's right, and even when he leaves office, he'll still be the mayor of our hearts.
Yes.
So let's talk about the educational exchange. So when I think about educational exchange and study abroad, it's usually for college students, but you've worked with a great contingency of young people. Tell us about what you'd like to see with the young people of Accra and the young people of Columbus.
Yes, what I would like to see is a practical implementation of this that we have signed today. And I would like to see this become part of the curriculum of the school in Columbus. Can you imagine, because I know that the United States 7th and 8th grade social studies talks about the economic, the history and all that of Africa. So can you see the practical link of the students of the 7th and 8th grade before they will go on to the 8th grade, them taking a trip to Africa and getting a sense of what they are studying in the books and getting the feel of the real content of their social studies, and then being exposed to the world at large. This is a practical way in which we can broaden the ideals and ideas of our next generation, of our youth today, becoming the leaders of tomorrow.
That's amazing. So it's like a
in
living...
addition to curricula, I'd like to see an exchange program.
Yes.
Where students from Columbus Public Schools
Yes.
can go to Accra and get hands-on experience and knowledge and learning, because anytime someone does that, they expand their horizons, they become better people as a result. And to have this relationship will help advance that notion of a exchange program.
That's beautiful. And my last question is, when we think about economic development, which is another important bridge, yes, what's your first point of business when it comes to this economic development piece of our partnership with the sister city?
Well, I think we have some corporations here in Columbus that want to do business with corporations and individuals in the city of Accra. And we want to expose the business leaders of Accra to the business opportunities in Columbus. There are many, and we just need to exploit them to develop a strategy of engagement. We had 2020 here today, for example, which is our business, our economic development, job creation organization. And they're going to be on it like white on rice, trying to make sure that we develop that relationship for both sides of the ocean.
You know, the country Ghana has a tremendous relationship with the United States. The business development of these two countries is growing every day. And in signing this memorandum of understanding, what I would like to see is I would like to challenge the business community of Columbus for them to take a good look, because you see, when you talk about Africa, we always talk about the challenges, but we don't talk about the opportunities, because there are great opportunities. The Asians are taking advantage of it every day, and they are coming to Africa every day. It is time that businesses in Columbus take advantage of that. So as mayor of the city of Accra, I am prepared to sit down with the business community and invite them to come to Accra. Business communities seeing the challenges of Africa in energy, in automobile, in sanitation, environmental. I mean, there are tremendous opportunities that they can take advantage of, because when it comes to the green, no matter where you make it, it's power. So I'm challenging the business communities of Columbus to say that let us take this and take it to wherever we can take it. Come to Africa, come to Ghana, and come and see the opportunities that exist and expand your business. Because look, the government of Ghana gives so many leverage and so many tax breaks for businesses to do well, not only just in Ghana, but in Africa. And I think that that is where everybody is going in this stage of the 21st century. All the indices show that the business is in Africa. So Columbus businesses should take advantage. And I am willing to lead them, to open the doors to them, as we are doing to other Asians. I was in China just 2 weeks ago. And today, there are about 3-4 businesses in my office doing business in Ghana. And businesses in Columbus can do the same.
And we'll be there as well. Well, I'd like to thank the both of you, these two visionaries, leaders, through their vision, their values, and leadership. The phrase Ubuntu, I am because we are, thanks to the two of you, we shall be.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay.
You know, that was truly incredible, because to have both mayors together, and it seems like, you know, truly education was a big piece of that conversation, and they both felt very passionate,
and they have a plan.
And have a plan.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that plan coming to fruition.
Because they talked about actually having young people and people coming from Ghana over to here and vice versa.
Yeah, it definitely makes all the world. And I can't wait to go. I hope we have the opportunity to be part of one of those trips.
Well, they said they're going to try to set something up for 2016.
We look forward to
Hopefully
reporting
we're
back.
part of that,
Yeah.
delegation, because that it would be very incredible.
Yeah, very incredible.
Well, we have some incredible people here, though, too.
Absolutely.
And representing a program that is near and dear to my heart because I'm part of it now, too.
Yes, we know.
Yes.
As with your previous interview with Marilyn Pritchett.
Right. Yes. Well, if you saw the last show, then you heard about my excitement about being a new mentor at Ames Middle School. So I'm doing it. I'm having a great time. I've got a great young person, and so it's very exciting. So
I love seeing your face lit up like that.
Hey, I tell you, if you have the chance, and we're going to talk about this, but you will be an amazed and changed person. So speaking of amazing and persons who are changing lives here in the city of Columbus,
Oh, yeah,
I would like to introduce our guests. And so our first guest, and on my left, is we have the new president, CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters, Ms. Elizabeth Martinez. Thank you for being on the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And then to our right, we have somebody I know has been on the program multiple times, but is always making a difference, and one of our big brothers, should we say. We have Mr. Steve Miller. I'd like to welcome you to the program.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And then next to him, the little brother. But we call him a big brother, though, too. But he's the little brother. We have Raekwon, so we'd like to welcome you to the program.
Thank you.
So good to have you here, but then all of you here because, as with my excitement, of the work that's being done by Big Brothers Big Sisters truly makes an impact on not only the lives of those young people that are being mentored, but also the persons that are doing the mentoring. So it is truly incredible. So, Elizabeth, you're new at the helm, and so we really would like to talk about, tell us a little bit about Big Brothers Big Sisters for those who might just be the first time hearing about it, but then also, what do you see as your vision going forward with Big Brothers Big Sisters?
Well, again, so grateful for the opportunity to be here with the both of you, and I'm excited about your involvement with our program. I'm here representing the organization, Big Brothers Big Sisters, an organization that's been in existence for over 100 years here in the local area since 1933. And Big Brothers Big Sisters is really about evidence-based and impact-driven mentoring programs, and that's certainly what we drive here in the community. I'm actually the incoming CEO of the organization, and that will be effective in 2016, but have had the great fortune of sitting under great leadership in the organization through Ed Cohn, who's been the president of the organization for the past 11 years. So certainly a lot of great work that has happened there, but our focus at Big Brothers Big Sisters is to provide mentoring relationships for children that are facing adversity in the community. As you know, being very connected to the work in the community, there's a lot of challenges that our kids are facing in the community, and we really believe that we want to continue to provide mentoring as a strategy to help impact the lives of kids in our program. And we do that through multiple ways. Napoleon, you talked about our Project Mentor program, which is one of our, what we consider to be a school-based program. Essentially, we're bringing in adult volunteers into the school-based setting to work with students 1 hour a week, one day of a week. And in addition to that school-based program, we have what we consider to be our flagship program, which is our community-based mentoring program. So typically when people think about Big Brothers Big Sisters, they reference our community-based program, and it really is an opportunity for volunteers to expose youth to experiences in the community that they might not have the chance to be exposed to otherwise. We believe in bringing these mentoring relationships and providing support to kids because we understand that there's nothing as critical importance as being able to bring committed and caring adults into the lives of children. But we don't do that alone. We do that in full partnership with parents, and we come alongside the parents to provide that support. Mentors come into the equation to inspire, motivate. Those are things that mentors do organically, but I think one of the major things that mentors do is at the core and foundation is build trust. And, you know, Steve will obviously speak to that a little bit later on in the segment. But, you know, we want to make sure that kids understand that success is not elusive. Success is something that is attainable. But we recognize that sometimes there are barriers. And part of our goal through our mentoring platform is to identify the barriers and help kids see the pathway to success. It's not one single event that's going to take them to the effort of being successful, but it's about those behaviors that they need to put into place on a daily basis so that they can be successful. And so, you know, our vision moving forward is as we transition into this leadership seat. One of the interesting things about our work is that the more mentoring relationships that we create, the more opportunities there are to continue to create more mentoring relationships. And what I mean by that is that kids come into our program, they're matched to adults, they have a great experience in our program, and parents are able to really truly see the benefit of the mentoring experience. And so therefore they're referring other families to our program, which, you know, further creates the gap of the number of students that we're able to provide services to and what we have resources to do. So as we transition into this role, one of the things that is a high priority is finding more opportunities to continue to serve multiple kids in the community, and do that at greater levels. And then also the notion of community collaboration. So I talked about, you know, success not occurring in a vacuum. We know that we certainly have to collaborate with our community partners to ensure that as we're identifying barriers to success for youth in our program, that we're providing access to connections to other organizations that are able to come alongside and provide support to them.
So it sounds like, and I think you touched on in regards to the focus is in the need of volunteers in the community-based is because it sounds, well, let me just back up. The program is doing such a great job, and I'm sure there's many young people that want to be a part of it. Are there young people on the waiting list to get Big Brothers?
Right. So as I just spoke to earlier, I think that the short response to that is yes. We continue to have youth that are on our waiting list. As I referenced earlier, I think part of the challenge is that as kids go out into the community, they experience these relationships with their mentors, they're coming back, they're having conversations with their friends, families are connecting with other families and encouraging them to get involved in our organization. So we do have a need for more volunteers within our program. I think coupled with the need of volunteers is also just the financial resources to continue to create those mentoring relationships. But I think part of our business is consistently about making sure that we have a very strong pipeline of volunteers that are both qualified to be mentors in our program, but that also have a passion and interest in creating sustainable impact within our community.
That's amazing. So as I'm thinking about it, let's segue over. That's a perfect segue to go over to Steve. So Steve, you are one of the Big Brothers. You're one of the people in the community who's answered the call to serve. How did you get involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and why did you get involved?
Well, thank you. I'm blessed to be here and have an opportunity to serve in the community. I've been a Big for 8 years, and I was involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters in Atlanta when I moved back to Columbus in '07. Got involved when I was working for Continental Office, and they supported the program and had an opportunity to work with a young man there for a number of years who's now graduated and in college and doing very well. It's just an opportunity for me to be able to reach back and make a difference in a young person's life. Growing up here in Columbus, I was blessed to have a number of coaches, teachers, and folks that fed into me, and it's just an opportunity for me to give back, to support. And really, I learn from Raekwon as much as he may learn from me. So we have a good time. We're big brother, little brother. And it's just a great way to provide some support with him as a school-based mentor. We meet once a week. But now we're community-based, so we have an opportunity to get together on the weekends and do other things. And it's been a blessing to see Raekwon grow and mature. And as our relationship continues to grow, we're finding, more about each other and enjoying different things together. So it's been a blessing. It's really exciting.
Now, let me jump in here, though, because, some people might think, well, all of a sudden you're just thrown in a room together. So when the first time meeting, what was it like the first time you met big man Raquan?
Well, when Raquan and I were matched, he was a sixth grader, and I think it would be fair to say that his reception was a bit chilly. But so it took time for us to get to know each other, for me to grow on him and him to trust me and figure out, hey, Mr. Steve's pretty cool. He's just trying to look out for me. And in a school-based setting, we talk about what's going on at school, what's going on at home, what's happening with his grades. We do different games and engagement, play some Uno, and just really talk about, just what's happening. So it took time for us to kind of get together and feel more comfortable, but that was, 3 years ago. So now, as an eighth grader, I really am excited to see how he's matured. His grades are doing much better, and I think that we have a good time when we're together, right, man?
So let's turn to Raquan. How did you feel? What was it like meeting Steve for the first time?
It was awesome. It was very fun. We did fun things together. Play Uno.
Do you win when you play Uno?
Yes.
That's good, my man.
Raquan is very competitive, so he which is a good trait to have. So and Big Brothers Big Sisters provides the mentors some programmatic support. So we're trying to weave in some educational relationship pieces that are fun for the littles as we spend time together. So it's been a lot of fun.
So, well, let me ask you this also. So, just for clarity, you started out in the Project Mentor, which you were
Yes.
school-based.
Yes,
And
school-based.
so then, and that was, as Elizabeth talked about, that's once a week for an hour.
Yes.
And so then you were able to transition into community-based.
Yes, yes.
Which that's when you're able to then spend weekends and that type of
Yeah,
thing.
absolutely. So that we felt like it was an opportunity because after the first couple of years, we were getting along pretty good, and it would give us opportunity to do more things. And we spoke with his mom, and she was excited and interested, and Raquan was interested. So it's an opportunity for us to really kind of get outside the school setting, get outside the box. I mean, we've been bowling, we played basketball, we've raked leaves together, we've gone to football practice, basketball practice, so and just hung out. We went to go to the mall, so we've done different things, and it's a good way for other people in the community to volunteer their time to feed into the life of a young person, because it's so very important.
So Raquan, what do you think is different about you because you have a big?
Like when I was in sixth grade, before I became like a little mentee, I had horrible grades. It wasn't good. And then when I got in the program, he started helping me more often, and I started getting good grades.
So
Just helped me with schoolwork.
that's awesome. And did you think is that what you thought was going to happen when you became a little brother?
Yes.
And so you're glad that it did? What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a professional basketball player, but if that doesn't work out, I'm going to go to high school or college to be a cosmetologist.
Okay, so you've got a little bit of the sports and the arts kind of.
Yes.
That's really great. And you've got a great smile on your face, so it must mean you're having a good time. Does it make you, I'm sorry about that, I know you're so excited.
No, go ahead.
How are you different in your house? Because do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have an older sister.
So do you think that you are, because Steve's such a good example to you, do you think you're a better example to your sister?
Yes.
That's good. And would she say the same thing?
Yes. She should.
She should, and I bet she does.
Well, in your times with Steve, Raquan, has there been any advice that he's kind of given to you that you're like, exactly, that is right. That's what I'm going to do, or that's right on point. Has there been any advice that he's given to you
Yes,
that has really helped you?
he tells me like if I'm like not doing good at something, he tells me to try harder and do my best and just slow down and stuff like that.
And does it work?
Yes.
That's good. And does your mom tell you the same thing?
Yes.
But somehow if you hear it from Steve, it kind of works. So does your mom say, "See, I told you"?
Sometimes.
That's really awesome.
Well, what are some of the, I mean, you know, we've talked about a lot of things, but I also, I kind of want to come back to your perspective, Steve. What are the things that you see in Raekwon? What, you know, he talked about where he wants to be, but you know, what do you see in him? I mean,
Well, I've told Raekwon that he can do anything that he wants to if he puts his mind to it. Raekwon is very bright. He's really sharp, and it's just a matter of how hard he wants to work. And we always talk about focus, and if he's focused, he can accomplish anything. He's got a lot of energy, a lot of drive. Again, you know, very sharp. So, I mean, it's just a matter of what he wants to do, and I'm there to help him and support him in any way that I can, to help him stay focused academically, to help him, you know, as he grows with questions, issues, ideas, support. So, and I think the important thing for me, and also for other people that mentor like you do, and we hope to engage and encourage others to join us in this support and making a difference in a young person's life, is we think that we're giving to the little, but the little really gives to us. I learn a lot from him.
What did you learn? What did you learn? What have you learned from Raekwon?
I learned honesty, because, you know, Raekwon is bluntly, brutally honest about everything, which is cool. Trust. Also, I learned that he's a lot faster than I am, and
Did you know these things?
right. So, you know, we kind of there's a give and take, but I look forward to being with him. I hope he looks forward to spending time with me, but I look forward to it, because I'm going to learn something, and he's going to make me laugh, and it's just a blessing to be able to share with him, and our relationship has grown, and it's just been a blessing for me.
That's beautiful.
at what point did you know that with this relationship that you were making an impact? Was there a light that went off? You're like, there it is.
Well, that's a great question, Napoleon. Part of the opportunity that we as mentors take on in working with young people is just trying to be there for them, and for other mentors that we hope will join us. As a advisory board member for the Mentoring Center of Central Ohio, we provide background checks and training to help mentors be prepared with better tools to be successful. For adults, dealing with young teens is an opportunity. That's the word I choose to use. It's an opportunity. So we help arm them with training and information to help them be more successful. You know, we're not trying to be parents. You know, we're just trying to be friends, big brothers, supporters. So that's a very important piece. And when we first started, when Raekwon was in the 6th grade, I was thinking like, wow, this is going to be interesting. But I know it takes time, and he's matured, and I've grown, and I think that probably it was this year, as an 8th grader, I think, you know, Raekwon, I think he enjoyed the time that we had spent together. But as an 8th grader, he's a little bit older now, and I don't know if he felt it was really cool anymore, you know, because he wasn't a little 6th grader. You know, he was an 8th grader. You know, he had other stuff to do at school. You know, and I hang out with my boys. You know, I'm chill. You know. So, but you know, we kind of had that, you know, come to Jesus point to say, hey, man, you know, I'm just here to help you. If you want to do this, cool. If you don't, cool. But I'm really enjoying it, and I think that he kind of thought back and said, well, you know, Mr. Steve's not that bad. He's pretty cool. You know, I still mess with him a little bit. So,
Is that what you said?
So
good.
that, that kind of took us like to the next level. And I think right after that point, there was a different level of trust and engagement to say, hey, okay, I'm in this, you're in this. Because as volunteers, we do this because we want to, we don't have to, and he doesn't have to either. So that's the sharing and caring piece
Yeah.
that a lot of young African American males need in our community and throughout the community with all of our big and little matches. So again, I think the important piece for me is that I'm learning as much as he's learning, and I get as much out of it as he does. And I don't know, what do you think, Raekwon?
Yeah, the same thing.
Did you know that Mr. Steve got as much out of, like, that he really values you and his time with you?
Yes.
How did you know that?
'Cause he, like, everything I do, he believes in me, and I don't know.
Like, do you just, does he have to tell you, or do you just know it?
I just know it.
And can you tell if somebody's faking?
Yes.
Right, and so he's the real deal?
Yes.
I'm glad. You're lucky.
Well, let me turn back to Elizabeth. This isn't an isolated piece here, and also there's big sisters, little sisters.
Right. And what we're seeing here is really the magic that your organization helps to foster, because you make it seamless and easy.
So how are you continuing that? Or what stories have you heard? Because we've heard this story, and I'm sure you've heard many other stories. Is this atypical, and is there a story that you've heard that just really says, that's why I keep doing this?
Yeah. I think the story of Steve and Raekwon represent many stories. We have students that are in our program that have needs across the spectrum. We have students that have very critical needs and are coming to us because they need whether it's family support that we can bring to them through our program. And we have kids that just need an extra helping hand, right? We believe in the power of a hand up versus a hand out. And so I think that our mentoring program really provides an opportunity to do that. But we hear many stories. I think that, I could probably sit here and talk about multiple stories, but, there are small successes and, big milestones that we celebrate when we see a youth that has been in our program at the 6th grade level, and now we're seeing them that off to college as a result of a very intentional mentor that has been deliberate about making sure that they're on track for success in collaboration with the family unit as well. And we've seen very small successes. Steve talked about earlier transitioning into the 6th grade, and for the first year not knowing if he had created an impact. Many mentors engage at that level. Students, go through the first maybe 3 months, and sometimes even 6 months. It's, doing a lot of the testing, really wanting to identify, is this mentor someone that's going to be here for the long term? So you may have an experience of a child. I can remember a very specific story of a program volunteer in the school-based program that showed up diligently every single week and had very minimal interaction with the child because the child had one-word responses to every single question that he proposed to the child, and questioned at one point, am I really making an impact? I'm showing up here, we have very little interaction. And then just, coming in that next year, and he decided, you know what, I made the commitment to this child, I want to make sure that I'm coming back next year. And it was a different child that he greeted in the 7th grade. And so I think, being able to look at, as I talked about earlier, celebrating the small milestones in that particular life of that child, just being able to get to the point where they trusted someone to then come back the next year and begin to flourish in their relationship, but then also in some other areas of that individual child's life. I think those are some of the successes that we see. But we also hear about great stories of not only kids that have been connected in the program and are currently being actively supported through our mentoring program, but stories about individuals in the community that have a mentor who, is now in senior age, and they have their own families, and they still stay engaged and still stay connected with their mentors. It's about creating long life relationships, the longer term relationships. That's what we're in the business of doing. So
that's exactly what I was just about to ask. It says it doesn't sound like it's 6th, 7th, 8th grade. It's like 6th, 7th, 8th into high school, into college, and beyond.
Yeah, and that's what we see organically happening, right? When we recruit volunteers, certainly for your viewing audience, the expectation is that they're not giving a lifelong commitment to the organization, but at the core, what we are is a mentoring organization that focuses on building relationships. And Steve talked about kind of the value add in exchange that happens both for the volunteer and the child. Really, the child becomes part of the family. And I think vice versa, that volunteer becomes part of that family network. And so it is very easy to transition into a multi-year relationship because it's less about the formality and the structure of the program. It's that we spent the time building the trust, building the foundation of this relationship, and we're just using that platform as the ability to help support some of the areas of needs for the kids in the program. And so that's whether that's social, emotionally, or academically, we do all of it.
So walk us through the basic logistics. If a person calls Big Brothers Big Sisters because they've seen all of this magic on the show, what will they experience from the phone call through that moment of getting to meet their little? What happens?
Absolutely. So it depends on which program you're interested. Community-based in particular. When a volunteer calls to our program, or a potential volunteer at that point, we are having conversations about the multiple ways that you can get engaged with our community organization. And so making sure that based on the interest of the volunteer that we're providing a menu of options. If community-based happens to be the interest that they have, then we're talking about, exactly what the expectations are of the program, talking about the screening process. We're inviting individuals to attend a 2-hour training so that we can really dive into more of the particulars about what the expectations are of the program. I think it's critical. Steve may have even talked about that as it relates to his relationship with Raekwon, is we have individuals in the community that are invested, and we want to make sure that the individuals that we're bringing are able to make a commitment to kids in our program. So that's the qualifier there. Once we've established that the person meets the criteria based on our screening process and they're ready to make that commitment, then we're identifying the appropriate mentee for them, if you will, or the little brother or the little sister. And we're doing that based on a very extensive interview process that our children and their families go through, where we're trying to measure not only just what the needs and the family dynamics are, but we're also trying to identify what interest that child has. So when we make the official pairing, one of the things that we're trying to do is look at compatibility amongst those matches based on sometimes just interest that they have. It's some other criteria and qualifiers around that, but interest is one of the things that we look at for matchability.
That's amazing. So there's this phrase, make it easy for the people that want to help you. And it sounds like Big Brothers and Big Brothers Big Sisters has it down to a very good science.
Yeah, I think one of the things that our mentoring organization also focuses on beyond just the initial screening and engagement in our program, and you've probably experienced this, Napoleon, is the behind the scenes support that many people don't have the ability to see if you're not involved in the program. So if you are a community-based mentor in our program, you are receiving support from what we refer to as program coordinators. Those coordinators are assigned to really be the guiding hand behind the scenes to ensure that we're setting both, the child, the volunteer, and the parent for success in this relationship. And that could be by way of, once, as I talked about, identification of barriers. If we have identified barriers or challenges, we want to come in and provide support. But it's also about facilitation of any, mediating, if you will, any challenges that might be happening in the relationship. We would not want to assume that everything is going to be smooth sailing from the onset, you know, to the full engagement of the match relationship, but we don't want to leave the mentoring portion to chance. So behind the scenes, we are really playing a very deliberate role in making sure that both the volunteer feels supported and that the children and their families feel the same level of support from us.
Well, I tell you that, well, when you talk about the commitment, and this is, I don't know how someone, you know, once you meet your little, it is truly amazing because, and I've only been doing it for a short time, but I was almost late this one time, and I almost freaked out because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't, because you don't want to let your little down, you know, and you've committed to that little that you're going to be there, and you can count on me.
Right.
And so I think many mentors, if not all mentors, you know, must feel that way, because it's a piece where, you know, they're there, rain or shine, I'm coming. I want to make sure that you know that I will be there. And so that's, you know, with me, I said, I am never going to be late again.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth, in my career, I travel quite a bit, and so Napoleon has a different availability than I do, but I too would like to be involved. So what are some things that people like me, who, you know, have spouses or loved ones who can be involved, but we have a different availability, what can I do to be supportive?
Right. So I think the community-based program lends itself for more flexibility as far as engagement with our organization. We have individuals that, for purposes of, you know, whether it's career or school, that have limitations where they can't attend a project mentor session or a school-based session where they have to meet at a specific time during the week. But the community-based program, you can create a schedule in collaboration with the family. I think there are other opportunities to get engaged with our organization as well, you know, from a development standpoint, involvement in different committees within the organization. But as it relates to direct connection with mentees in our program, we have the community-based option might be a better option for you.
And until, even if that doesn't work, can I donate in other ways? Are there some, because you probably have some funding needs as well.
Absolutely. So when I talk about kind of engagement from a development perspective, you know, we have 2 annual fundraisers for our organization. So that's a way to become engaged with our program, and anyone that's interested in learning more about our programs can certainly visit our website. But I think that is another way to, even if you can't directly be involved in creating an impact for a child by providing resources to us, you're enabling the organization to create more match relationships. So appreciate the opportunity to share that is an option, and most people don't think about it. And I think it would be important to note that, you know, anyone can be involved in being, you know, in philanthropy. You don't necessarily have to have, you know, the ability to sign the $1 million check, but anyone can contribute at any level.
Even if it's 10, 25, 50.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You talked about a website. What's the website?
So it's the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Ohio website. So BBBS Columbus.org is our website, or you can Google Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Ohio.
What about a phone number?
614-839-2447. So 839-BIGS.
839-BIGS.
That's really cool. That's really
Although
nice.
I don't need to remember that now. I'm in it.
I'm still feeling a little curious because you are new as the new CEO, but you're not new to Big Brothers Big Sisters. But, you know, tell us your story. How did you end up at Big Brothers Big Sisters, and what's inspired you to stay and now take on this new leadership role?
Well, I've been with the organization for about 12 and a half years. I was originally recruited by Big Brothers Big Sisters to work not only with their local agency or the affiliate here, but to work with our national affiliate, or a national Big Brothers Big Sisters. We are one of 300 affiliates across the nation. And so my initial work with the organization was to help this affiliate and the national affiliate build a strategy of engagement and penetration within the Hispanic Latino community. And I've been afforded some great opportunities within the organization to work at different levels within the organization, but I personally have a deep affinity for working for youth And I say working for youth with intentionality. I believe that this is certainly a privilege that we have the opportunity to serve this, or it's very easy to get behind the mission of creating sustainable impact for kids in the community. And many of these kids mirror my own childhood experiences. And so it's not often that you have a chance to create impact at this level, not only at the local level, but to be able to connect with, the national organization and affiliates across the nation to take some of the work that we're doing here and what's happening at that level and create some replication of some really impactful programs.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. 'Cause, I mean, that's
Thank you. It was
a-
nice to get to
some-
know you in that
yeah,
way.
definitely
Thank
great
you.
information and to show your connection and commitment over the long haul, which is excellent. But let me go back across the table because I wanted to find you're in 8th grade,
Yes.
right, Raekwon? Okay, so 8th grade, you're in school. So where are you going to? What school do you go to next? Do you change schools at 8th grade or just up until 9th? I'm not sure.
It's up till 9th. But I go to Yorktown Middle School.
Okay, where's the high school you're going to?
I might be going to Independence.
Okay.
Well, that's a definitely.
Okay, Independence. Are you looking forward to that?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And
good.
you're looking forward to have Mr. Steve with you to help you through those high school years?
Yes.
Yeah, you think you'll need an ear to talk to?
Maybe.
or somebody to beat up on in basketball.
Yeah.
Yes, that.
And I meant to ask, what's your favorite subject?
Math.
Math. And what's the subject you don't love so much?
Oh, the subject that I don't love so much is going to be science.
Science. Okay.
I don't like science.
Not that well. So does Mr.
very
Steve
hard.
help you?
Sometimes he don't get it either.
But you'll keep him anyway.
Mr. Steve, come on now.
So what do you do when you don't get it? What does he tell you to do?
Just ask the teacher or ask other people for help, because some people don't get some subjects, so they ask for help. Mm-hmm. That'd be the best thing to do.
That's true. There's nothing wrong with asking for help, to get it done.
That's right. And it's kind of important to did you probably have more respect for Mr. Steve when you recognize that not only is he a good person, but he's willing to admit that he doesn't always have all the answers?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty special. You're getting some life lessons without even knowing it.
So high school at Independence,
And
then
then
at the
what-
basketball, college.
You still have
So
to
gotta
go to college to go
So
to the NBA,
So what colleges do you think about? I know we're thinking out there a little bit, but these are the goals. I'm sure Mr. Steve has talked about some goals.
Either Ohio State or Kentucky.
All right, I like both
I know,
those
look at the
schools.
smile on his face when either Ohio State or Kentucky.
That's
Well, good.
great. Yeah, Ohio State or Kentucky. So you'd either be a Buckeye or a Wildcat.
Yep.
Okay,
We
why
want you to be a
Kentucky?
Buckeye.
How'd you come up with Kentucky?
Because Tiger Ulis, I know him because he used to go to my church and he played basketball for them.
Okay,
And it's a good basketball team there.
all right.
They have a good coach, a really good coach.
Wow, so you really have your eye on the prize. That's
Right,
good.
and then if but during school though, while you're playing basketball, you're gonna be looking at the cosmetology piece, right?
Yes.
Okay, good deal. So then you can fall back one or the other.
Right. That's
But-
good. So
but-
you can give Napoleon an edge up. You can give him an edge up. What about Mr. Steve?
I don't know which edge up to get.
Way to go.
That is great. That is great. Well, so very true.
Right.
I look and yes, I don't know what to do with
Right.
Mr. Steve either.
Well, Steve, you have so many wonderful things that you've done, and it really is inspiring to us hearing that you served in Atlanta as well as serving here. If you were to give a message or a plea to someone who might be considering becoming involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters in some way, that Elizabeth's already given us a good platform and a great story, what plea or a word of advice would you give?
Well, first of all, I think each person has some things that they could bring to the table for this organization. The three things are time, talent, and treasure, which our time is difficult to manage. We think we get busy, but there is time to make a difference in a young person's life. Our talent, through relationship management, friendships, or professional, Big Brothers Big Sisters as a nonprofit organization can use that. And treasure, of course, is making a donation to support what we're doing. We really want the mentors to be a proportional representation of the community. There are a number of young boys and girls that are on a waiting list that don't have a big to be there for them. So we're encouraging young and old to participate and support and make a difference in a young person's life. We especially are focused on trying to get more African American males to support, because about 50%, a little over 50% of the young people that we serve here at Big Brothers Big Sisters are African American, though that there is no determining factor that we want it to be racially equal, but we do want to try to increase those numbers, because I think that there's an opportunity through cultural competence to support needs and understand what some of our young African American males are going through right now, particularly to what's going on in communities all across the country. So it's a moral imperative that we support our young people, because as cliches go, they are the future. So we want to feed into their lives and get more people engaged. So I know that we need more folks so we can make more matches. And as Elizabeth said earlier, it's really the length of the match that really makes the difference. We want people that can make the commitment and volunteer and stick with them. As I said, I had one young man from 6th grade through high school. Now I've got Raekwon, and I'm going to follow him all the way through high school and through college, because I know that he's going to be successful, and we want to support that success throughout our community.
Raekwon, where would you be without Mr. Steve?
Probably still in the same grade.
Hey, that's real. That's real.
That is. So we've got a couple minutes left, and I want to give each of you the opportunity to just to talk to the audience about why it's important, and how they can help and how they can get involved.
Right. Well, I think one of the things that I would say is that we have the opportunity to really create sustainable impact in the lives of kids. I mean, we've obviously spoken to that. But what we're really talking about is that kids are coming to us with raw potential. And I think that it is our responsibility through our program, especially in the platform that we have, to engage volunteers that will come alongside us and shoulder to shoulder help us create paths and opportunities where our children can be successful, and that we can foster that talent through our program. These stories that we hear are really important for us to continue to figure out ways to replicate that success. And so excited about, the partnership that we have with multiple entities throughout this community, folks that have come together to say, youth are important. And not only are they important, but we're recognizing that Steve talked earlier about them being not just the future, but they are today. And so how do we focus on, kids' issues today and leverage the resources that we have in the community, such as Big Brothers Big Sisters, and there are other organizations that are doing great work, but we believe in the power of mentoring. When done right with, the right interventions, we see success like Raekwon's story, and we see others that are able to attain the same level of success. So we encourage those that have interest in engaging in our program to not be detoured by the lack of understanding of how to get engaged, but to reach out and to bring their time, talent, or treasure to the organization, because we can certainly put them to good use.
Most definitely. Thank you so much. Mr. Steve.
Well, again, Napoleon, Mrs. Bell, we thank you for allowing us to be here. I believe that Big Brothers Big Sisters provides an outstanding platform to allow individuals, organizations to support young people. The Project Mentor program, and I've said this a number of times, I think could be and should be a national model that provides educational, corporate, and nonprofit organizational support in our community, which I think we'll see grow. The Mentoring Center provides background check and training to support these matches. We work with over 40 other agencies to make sure that we can help those agencies operate more efficiently and support mentors with knowledge to arm them with tools to be more successful in their match. Studies have shown that the length of matches is a direct correlation with success. We encourage other individuals, male and female, young and old, to accept the challenge to make a difference in a young person's life, because I guarantee you that they'll get more out of it than the young person will, and make a friend for life and really create opportunities and give vision to young people that they can be successful and do anything.
And our last person, we'll give you the final word there, Raekwon.
Well, I think that if people that's not doing this program right now and you start doing it, it will really help you with like yourself in life, with school and other things like that. Keep you off the streets, pretty much.
All right, reach out to you.
How do you feel being called a success?
Good. It's good to be called a success.
That's good. Well, we look forward to more successes from you.
And more successes
From
all
the
of
collective.
you. Yeah, a collective. So we appreciate your time for being here. I mean, this has been an excellent conversation and insightful. And if any one of our viewing audience doesn't hurry up and get signed up right away, because if this doesn't do it, I don't know what will. And especially if they go through the orientation program and saw the information. Oh,
Yeah.
it was. I was like,
man.
oh
He
my
was
gosh,
in-
we have got to do something.
He was
so,
in tears for a minute, and
oh
then
my
he
gosh.
was with joy.
Yeah. So it's
good job with that.
amazing program.
orientation.
Amazing program, and thank you so much.
Yeah. And Elizabeth, we look forward to supporting you and continuing to help you and Big Brothers Big Sisters be successful through for all time. So you have our
What's that
support.
number again?
614-839-2447.
Excellent. Well, again, thanks all of you for being here.
Thank you.
And also to our viewing audience, we have got, coming up here real soon, we are celebrating the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday, coming up January 18th on Monday. And so we want to make sure that everybody comes down and collaborates and gets together down at the King Arts Complex beginning at 4 o'clock. And we start the march at 4:45 when we march over to the Lincoln Theater. And the program begins there about 5:45, and we are going to have an excellent program. And our keynote speaker is Mrs. Merle Evers Williams, who's the widow of Medgar Evers, the late civil rights leader. So an incredible program then.
And the program's always impactful, insightful, inspiring. You will really enjoy it. So if you can make that time on your calendar, you've already got the day off, you will be for a real treat.
Make it a day on. And then also on Saturday, the Saturday before, you'll have
The
great pleasure. We're talking about
oratorical
great
contest.
young kids, the Martin Luther King Oratorical Contest, and we're going to have that at the King Arts Complex. That begins at
We'd love to
noon.
have you
So we
in
have
as
about
well to
50 young
participate.
people that are part of that, and they have their orations that they memorize from 2 to 5 minutes. It's an incredible program. Please check that out. And it's on our website at www.crc.columbus.gov. And if you want to connect with our office, you can hit us up on Facebook at either Nap Bell and or at Columbus Community Relations Commission. And have a great week.